Well, yeah, the other big thing is I said on the 31st of August I would be announcing whether this year's Runchatlive conference will be physical as well as virtual. We know it's going to be online, that's for sure, that's a given. And also we know it's going to have translation, simultaneous translation into Spanish, traducción simultánea en español. Which is amazing, which I'm really looking forward to putting that out. The question of whether it's going to be physical, I announced a week or two ago or more ago that it really depends on how many people want to come to Brighton and join us for a physical conference. There's only about 2 days left until August the 31st, if that. It doesn't look like, unless there's a sudden mad rush now, there's not the demand to have a physical conference, which I understand. Inside it's a shame, but then again I was there last year and I just remember how friggin' awesome it was to stand back on the stage and see everybody together, to see all the speakers having a tea in the corner, bringing together people who have talked to each other for maybe 5-10 years and never actually shaken hands because of the internet. And that was a really, probably apart from my kids and getting married and all that, it was probably one of the proudest moments of my life inside, because it just it scares me, the internet and the way it's all going. Maybe I just watch too much Black Mirror and Joe Rogan podcasts and all the stuff of how it's getting all so virtual, and all our friends are virtual now, and all our existence is virtual, and our character is now virtual, and so many people now are known by their Instagram as opposed to what they are in real life, and it all gets me a little bit concerned. It's all heading there. We will be there eventually. Eventually there will be a way to control our phones from our mind and to see what's on our phones in our mind, and that'll be it. That'll be goodbye real world. That'll be everything you live and talk and see and share will be in your brain. Pretty scary thought, I think. So I want to try and slow that down. So anyway, I'm just warbling on now. So yeah, it did. The whole purpose of excuse me, the Runchatlive conference was to try and delay that and feel that I'm encouraging people still coming to conferences. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this year, which is a shame, but hey, there's people who are suffering with far more consequences in COVID than that, so I'm not going to harp on about it too much. But it does mean that unless there is a sudden rush, it will go virtual, which is probably music to the ears of the technicians I've got working in Chile and in the UK to put together the idea of filming it and getting it out there and streaming it and having 3 people in the United States and the rest of the people in the conference room and putting it all together on Zoom was proving to be potentially quite challenging. So in terms of the logistics, it means if it does go totally virtual, which it looks like it will, it now gives us the opportunity to put out something special and new and different, so it doesn't just look like just a stream of recorded videos one after the other. I don't want it to be that. There's too many of them out there now. And to tell you the truth, the content of the speakers and the things that are going to be talked about in the conference are just too good to make it another just presentation. So yeah, I want it to be 2 days where people feel like, you know what, I'm going to take 2 days off work for this. I'm going to take my holiday now because I want to be there for every second of this. We've got plans for in between the talks. There's 15-minute gaps where in the English stream on Zoom I'll still be around. I'm going to invite specialists who aren't speaking, maybe people from last year, other specialists who I know, to come and give a little chat with me during the 15-minute intervals about what they've seen, what's coming up, what they're doing. So there'll be continuous coffee breaks in between each presentation. That's quite important to me. I've got to make that happen because I want it to be a live thing. I want you to, as soon as one finishes, I'll be there going, ooh, hello, wasn't that fun? With hopefully other people with me who will go, oh, wow, so-and-so's here. And the same thing will be happening on the Spanish stream. So when people who are following the Spanish translation, they'll have Spanish guests there. Manuela Besome has said that she'll be popping in to chat about what she's seen, what she's up to, what she's looking forward to, and other experts, Spanish-speaking experts from the running industry will be joining the Spanish stream as well, which actually makes me feel warm and smiley inside. I want people. I'm thinking of other things as well. If there's anybody out there who can think of other ways, who maybe wants to sponsor things like coffee breaks, snack bars, drinks, anything you want to get chucked onto a 2-day virtual conference, product placement, I guess that's what I'm talking about. If anybody wants to get involved with banners, having things up during the speakers' presentations, anything like that. So I'm talking to the business people out there now. Then feel free to email me, matt@runchatlive.com. Tickets are all on sale for the Spanish-speaking virtual tickets. There is a boleto de reserva anticipada, which is Spanish for an early bird ticket. So that knocks the price down. That finishes that finishes August the 31st. So if you are Spanish speaking, or you know somebody who is, then make sure you get in there. And also, if you watch the Manuela Bersomi episode of Runchatlive, there's news of a discount, an extra discount in there. So if you're Spanish speaking and really on the ball, you could get the boleto de reserva anticipada más el descuento de Manuela Bersomi, which means more or less I'll be paying for you to come to the conference. But yeah, if there are groups of you, then keep contacting me. If there's a lot of you, I'll see what I can do. Obviously it's virtual, which means that there's very little I can do in terms of discounts, you know what I mean. But yeah, contact me if you're struggling, if there's a good reason why you can't afford the ticket price. The ticket price is set because of the what I'm paying the speakers and the preparation that goes into something like this, and because it's the one time in the year that I might actually make a couple of grand. You know what? I'd be able to buy something for my kids, because as any podcaster will tell you, we don't make anything out of the podcasts, don't make anything about the posts we share, don't make anything about the times we speak on other podcasts. We do it for the love of it. It's only in the conferences and stuff that some of us actually get a chance to make a little bit of payback for the year. So yeah, that's why the tickets are set at the prices they are. I try and make them competitive. I think it's well worth the value. For a therapist, the information you're gonna get over the 2 days. I mean, look, let's take the time now to actually have a little quick look through the speakers in case people are watching this back. Well, in no particular order, Matt Fitzgerald, who tragically I was so looking forward to shaking hands and meeting Matt and just basically adorning him for a while, for 2 days. That can't come in person, but Matt Fitzgerald will be presenting on how a lot of the time we feel that as recreational runners, what the elites do is something which we don't really touch. It's nothing. It's a totally different ball game. He has proved and he has shown as a recreational runner himself that that's not the case. And the feats which he has achieved and continues to achieve by adopting strategies he's got from training with the elites in Arizona and Falstaff is a bit of a wake-up call. So whether you are trying to chase that 30-minute park run or a 25-minute park run or a 20-minute park run, you want to take some of the things the elites are doing, basically is what he's saying. So he's going to talk us through that. It's going to be, well, Matt Fitzgerald, just seeing him speak live is enough in itself, but the content is going to be fantastic as well. So that's number 1 of 10. Sit down, make yourself a cup of tea. I'm going to talk through the other ones if I can remember everybody. Also, in no particular order, this year we've got Ben Cormack, who popped into the Spanish episode the other day with Manuela Bersomi. Didn't know Ben could speak Spanish. I still don't think he can. But yeah, Ben Cormack is going to be doing a presentation on movement variability. Anyone who hasn't seen Ben yet or doesn't know about Ben Cormack, great speaker, great bloke. Just a fantastic knack of putting the complex into terms which we can understand, whether you're a runner or a therapist, which is so important because it's us therapists who need to put it into terms for the runner to understand. So yeah, very excited about Ben's presentation. That'll be happening as well. Just realised I've got to remember all 10 now. Okay, we've also got Emma Rockwell, fantastic. Oh, what a burning hot topic, return to running after giving birth. Hugely hot topic. A lot of people are jumping onto this now everywhere you look, and rightfully so, because it's been such a grey area which we haven't been talking about enough. It's been an area which therapists haven't been prepared for thanks to the recent publication by Emma Rockwell and Grania Donnelly and Tom Goomb, with the guide they provided, that's helped now give therapists a guide to follow, to highlight some of the things we should have been saying for years, and also for runners to have a look at and to realise the advice they should be really given, as opposed to just jumping back into running when they feel like it, and doing a few exercises here and there which they've been handed on a photocopy from 1982. So yeah, sadly Grania can't make it, but Emma will be there speaking about that, which is fantastic. This is going to be, there's going to be Mike James, the only speaker coming back from last year, not because no one else wanted to, but because it's just Mike James is Mike James. He's just my corner man. He's a pillar, and I love the idea as well, because he closed last year, quoting Kevin Maggs at the end, and now he's opening this year. I thought that was pretty. So yeah, Mike James will be in as well. What's he talking about? Oh yeah, about making exercise prescriptions simpler. Very important theme as well. It's very tempting for therapists to just keep piling on exercises for runners, and not knowing how to progress them properly, etc, etc. So Mike will be talking about that. Kevin Maggs, who I've just mentioned, he had the last quote on the screen last year at Runchatlive conference. He's going to be talking from where is he? West Virginia, is it? In the States. He's going to be talking about the whole load versus capacity theory, clearing that up. A lot of therapists have jumped onto that idea that it is a case of overload, as in so many cases of injury. So he'll be talking about that, clearing up a few misconceptions, helping us get that across to our clients. And Kevin, again, he's the USA division leader for Running Clinic. Fantastic speaker, such a great sense of humour. If you haven't seen the short speaker promo he did, then check it out on YouTube. It's hilarious. If you look at my YouTube channel, there's promo videos, and from all the speakers, they're only a minute long, and Kevin Maggs in particular is wonderful. He sent it to me and said, is this too much? Is this like, I don't know whether the English sense of humour will get this. And I was like, yeah, it's brilliant. Chuck it out there. So check that out. So that's Kevin Maggs. Also from the States, we've got Alice Sanvita, who I'm very excited about. One of the common pieces of feedback last year from the conference was, why haven't you got a massage therapist up there? You got physios and osteos, and why haven't you got a massage therapist up there? So I listened and I delivered, and this year we have got one of, for me, the most contemporary, forward-thinking massage therapists out there, who is going to talk about, or basically putting the evidence back into massage therapy for runners. Great speaker, really clued up, huge amount of experience. Often, especially as a massage therapist, if your claim to fame is you've done it for 30 years, then that's not really a claim to fame. It's a fallacy, isn't it? It's a logical fallacy of, what do they call it? Antiquity or something. Just because you've done something for a long time doesn't mean you're automatically very good at it. And particularly with massage therapy, often it means you're not going to be very good at it, because a lot of the time you've got to stick your heels in. Watch out for that, runners in particular. Just because a therapist has been doing it for a long time, just because they've been particularly if it's a chiropractor, an osteopath, or if they've been doing it since 1830, then they're using some principles which you really don't want to be used now. Professionals of every single domain have had to have changed and evolved in the years, particularly in the last 5-10 years, with modern concepts from pain and movement. So yeah, don't fall prey to, I've been doing this for 30 years, it must be good. It doesn't even happen with running coaches. Yes, there are elements and experience, but length of time, it's not how big it is, it's what you've learned to do with it that counts. I think that's the saying. So yeah, anyway, don't know how I got into that. But Alice Sanvito has been doing it for a long time, and but she has evolved fantastically, because she's got a thirst for knowledge. And if you check her out on Facebook in particular, her catchphrase #shit that massage therapists say is very infectious, and it does highlight a lot of the stuff which we've had to move on in a comical but matter of fact, in your face, this is how it is, time to change way. It's Alice Sanvito. Who else we got? We have got we're going to have, I've been trying to do, well, the idea was going to be more practicals this year, because that's another thing people asked for last year. The idea is we were going to split the seats apart like the Red Sea and bring a practical in the centre. I'm not sure this year how Mike James is going to incorporate that into his, or some of the other speakers who are planning on a practical element. Maybe they can do from their camera, I don't know, leave it up to them. But we are still hoping to have a live gait analysis presentation from Nick Knight, podiatrist of NK Active, and also with him Dr. Jessica Bruce, who is the founder, creator of Run 3D. Just have a little second for Fauna. She's the creator of Run 3D. So who better to actually give a presentation along with Nick Knight, who uses the gait analysis software. It'll be interesting. I've been told by Jess that they can do it. They do it all the time from clinic with the cam on there. So that's going to be good. That's going to be a little presentation talking about gait analysis. Trevor Pryer, podiatrist. Last year we had Simon Bartold, we had Ian Griffiths. This year Trevor Pryer, who's from the same stock, the same calibre, the same level of experience, and also the same sense of humour. Trevor Pryer, who's an orthopaedic surgeon for podiatry, he will be joining us to give a presentation on orthoses. It's always requested. Last year the chat about orthosis and footwear was hugely well received, so this year Trevor will be delivering an update and talking about wading through the jungle of orthoses. I think that's what he calls it. So that'll be Trevor. We've also got Tom Goomb is with us this year. See what I mean? You know, I'm working through the list, and you think, oh, eventually we're going to say someone who we're going to say, oh yeah, that's quite nice. No, every single speaker is top notch, and absolutely somebody who you are going to get so much from hearing from. So Tom Goomb is with us, and Tom Goomb, who everybody knows, the running physio, is going to be talking about really important thing about combining evidence-based practice with what we see in clinic, and basically how still I think, as he puts it, looking after runners is an art. It's an art because we can't just go by the science completely. It's an art because we do have to play around with what the runner wants, what we see in clinic, as well as the evidence. So he's going to be doing a really interesting presentation on that. Who else? Right, I'm getting towards my memory getting frayed now, so in my mind I'm going to look through the list here. Mentioned Alice, mentioned all the American people, mentioned Ben Cormack, mentioned Mike James, I've mentioned Trevor. Have I mentioned 10? Or have I left anybody out? Oh, Claire Minchell, sorry Dr. Claire. Claire Minchell will be with us as well. The person of current times when it comes to strength and conditioning. So yeah, hugely honoured that Dr. Claire Minchell will be joining us as well, giving obviously a presentation on strength training for runners. So many myths and misconceptions, and so much good quality information coming out now. The studies for strength training. There's been evidence for ages, for a good 20 years or more, that strength training can help with economy and performance for running. And Dr. Claire Minchell will be reinforcing that point using references and studies as only she, in the way that she can. I mean, that's Dr. Claire's whole role in life, is to take research, because she's from such a strong research background, and throw it out to actual therapists, to the clinic floor, to runners, and not just runners, but in our case runners, rather than us waiting, 13, 17 years for it to drop down from the research, from the published paper down to clinic. So yeah, Dr. Claire will be, Dr. Claire, does she call herself Dr. Claire? I think it's quite nice, Dr. Rob, Dr. Claire. So Dr. Claire will be with us as well. I think I've covered everybody. I'm so sorry if I haven't. I think I have. That's 10, isn't it? If I haven't, then apologies, but I think that's 10. So yeah, there you go. I'm doing this because I don't expect people to stick with me now and listen to it. I'm doing it so people can look back. I'll probably cut it and then I'll put it out by itself just as a little breakdown of who's coming. So I hope I have said all 10. Anyway, they're the 10. Looks like it's going to be virtual, but it will be fantastic, I promise you. 29th and 30th of October. I do encourage clinicians, if you can, to book it off as 2 days of CPD as if you were going to do a course. Don't wait for the recordings. There will be a recording of it. They will go out as videos. Our intention is to put it out onto therapistlearning.com. So there will be a recording of it, but join us in real life. Yeah, be with us knowing that at this moment in time you are actually watching these speakers speaking, making mistakes, hopefully a few of them, because I love it when people make mistakes. It shows it's live. Joining us for the intervals. You know what? You could even come and have a chat. Have a chat with us in the intervals. Let us know how it feels, what's going on, what you're up to. I may even bring you up onto camera if I feel like it. That's the kind of control we have in Zoom. And of course, if you're Spanish speaking, then yeah, virtual ticket with traducción